Just as the weather is getting colder, Siege will be getting a lot colder too with the new operator Tubarão. In this video, I will tell you everything you need to know about the new season Operation Deep Freeze, including the new defender, the new map Lair, and some other cool changes coming this season. Let's start with the new operator's loadout. Tubarão is a new defender from Portugal.
I need more bullets!
He's a 2 speed, 2 health, and his gadget is the Zoto canister. This is a throwable gadget which releases freezing gas once it sticks to a surface. This can be a soft wall, soft floor, reinforced wall, or even a solid wall. It basically grows through everything. The radius of the gadget is about 5 meters and it will stay up for about 13 seconds. Any operator that walks through it will be affected by it. You'll have a visual effect on your legs, you can see their footsteps, even through the floor, and your breathing becomes visual as well. This means that an operator walking through it does give a sound cue. Attackers also get slowed down when they're walking through the range of the gadget. You cannot pick the gadget back up, but an operator can shoot the canister to stop the effect immediately. His loadout consists of the MPX that Valkyrie and Warden have as well. He also has the AR-1550, the same DMR as Maverick has, and this one has the option to add a 1.5 scope. His secondary is the P226 MK25, and for his secondary gadget you can either pick a C4 or proximity alarms. This gadget affects lots of attacker gadgets, but also defender gadgets. And we'll get through all of them, but his main purpose is to stop attacker gadgets, especially breaches. So how does this new gadget interact with breaches? Well, there's a lot we can say about that. If the attackers try to breach a wall, you can throw the Zoto canister against the breach, or on the floor or ceiling close to it to stop the breach. Any breaching gadget on the other side of the wall will get frozen and inactive for the duration of the Zoto canister. When the Zoto canister runs out, the breach will continue in its cycle. That means if the breach was about to detonate, it'll do so shortly after the Zoto canister runs out. If you stop the breach early on in its process, the breach will take longer after the Zoto canister runs out. You can also trick the breach when it's frozen with Kate or Bandits. Be careful with the radius of that frozen gadget though, as sometimes it seems that a Bandit battery or a Kate claw in the radius of the Zoto canister will also get frozen, and therefore it won't trick the breach. Maverick is the only breacher that can breach the wall even if it's frozen. So he is the perfect counter against Tubarão. Gadgets like claymores get frozen as well. This allows you to disable a claymore for a runout or flank, which I tried here on the CCTV breach. This can definitely lead to some huge plays. It will also stop you from joining because you can't see anything anymore. It doesn't counter grenades or smoke grenades as they will just detonate. And now for specific attackers, as there are some interesting interactions. Ram's Boogie will be temporarily disabled in the radius of the Zoto canister. When the freeze runs out, the Boogie will continue running. This can be efficient to stop attackers from creating verticals on you. It stops fuses cluster charge as well, and you can then shoot that gadget on the other side of the wall in peace. With Grim, you cannot counter open Bs, but when the Zoto is deployed, and you then put Bs in the radius, they won't open up. Now Tubarão is a good counter against Dokkaebi, especially if you were to be roaming. If you step in the radius of the deployed Zoto canister, the Dokkaebi call stops instantly, and this works for everyone that steps in the range of the gadget.
Yeah, turn off the phone!
Sense's wall gets countered and paused. It'll then deploy again after the Zoto canister runs out. If you roll a sense wall through the ice, it'll almost look like it's a hockey puck that's rolling around on its sides. Finka's Adrenal Surge will not disable the slowdown effect of the Zoto canister. That's odd, because it does counter some of the other slowdown gadgets. Ash's Breaching Round will not open if it's deployed in the radius of an activated Zoto canister. It will detonate or blow up as soon as the freeze effect is gone. Gridlock's Track Stingers stop being deployed once they're in the radius of the Zoto. But it doesn't freeze the actual spikes on the gadget, so defenders will still take damage when walking over them. This means Gridlock is a good counter against Tubarão, especially if he were to be roaming. Blitz's shield will be jammed by the Zoto canister. But Monty will not be affected at all. He can unshield and shield all he wants. We've noticed with quite a few attacker gadgets that this gadget of Tubarão feels like a duplicate of a Mew jammer. Nomad's air jab gets frozen as well. This means a defender can just walk through the area without getting yeeted back. And the same goes for Jackal. He cannot track any footsteps in the radius of the Zoto. Ying's Candela will get stopped in its tracks, even if it's right about to detonate. You can then shoot the gadget whilst it's frozen. You cannot counter a Candela that's already going off by throwing the Zoto on it. You'll still be flashed. Nock cannot use her ability in the range of the Zoto canister, but is able to use it outside of the range. Zero's Argus launcher gets muted when it's in the radius of the Zoto canister. Brava cannot hack the gadget, and her clutch drone will get muted in the radius of the Zoto canister. However, a Brava could hack a 1-eye magnet, and then when you throw the gadget, it will stick to the 1-eye magnet. Thatcher doesn't disable the Zoto canister, and an impact EMP doesn't work either. IQ also cannot see the gadget on her scanner. Now you'd think that the obvious counter for ice would be fire, but Capitão's fire does not go off if you fire it against a wall with a freeze effect on it. And that means there's also some odd interactions with defender fire gadgets. For example, Goyo. When you put the Zoto around a Goyo Vulcan canister and then shoot the Vulcan, there will not be fire. Once there is fire already, you cannot counter it anymore with a Zoto. With that, you'd say that this new defender could have also been an attacker, especially if you see how many defender gadgets Tubarão can interrupt. A bulletproof chem will be disabled. And most importantly, a C4 does not work in the radius of the Zoto canister. Fenrir's mine will be frozen in the radius, and it also seems like it opens up immediately, therefore making it vulnerable to be shot. Lucy's Banshee will stay in the state that it was already in, so if it was closed, it'll get frozen, stay closed. If it was open, it'll get frozen and stay open, so you can shoot it. Maestro's Evil Eye gets frozen and opened. It's fine if he loses one, because he has 3 of them anyways, but more on that later. Now, all these pesky Warden mains will encounter some problems next season, as they won't be able to use their glasses in the range of the Zoto canister. Which is fine, because most Warden players die while roaming before they even get to use their glasses, so not much of a change for them anyways. Echo will have his yokai be muted by the Zoto canister. And if it's on the ceiling and the Zoto will be deployed in the range of that yokai, the gadget will be muted and also fall off the ceiling. Azami's Kiba barrier does not deploy in the range of the Zoto canister. It won't freeze or break an already deployed Kiba barrier though. Now, Frost has a very funny interaction. A Frost mat will not work when it's in the radius of a Zoto canister. When the ice is gone, the mat will work again. Tubarão is sus. I swear, at this point he's almost the imposter among the defenders with how many defender gadgets he disables. But it doesn't end there. Because Capcan traps will also get frozen, and an attacker can walk through them. Oh my god. Thorin's Razor Bloom shells get frozen as well. Then when the gadget is gone, they will still stay in a neutral state. It takes someone to walk into the Razor Bloom shell when it's not frozen before it gets activated. The Zoto canister does not stop a projectile in a mirror window. More on that mirror change later. You cannot shoot the frozen projectile in a mirror window. Ella's Grismod mine will also be disabled when in the radius of the Zoto canister. And One-Mite's magnet will also be muted if it's in the radius. Vigil cannot use his ability either in the Zoto canister range. And now there is one defender gadget where I think it might be helpful to freeze them. Aruni Surya Gate gets disabled, which means that when you walk through the gate when it's frozen, there will not be a sound cue of the gate opening and closing. That can help you with a sneaky rotate or a flank. This means that Tubarão players really need to rub their brain cells together and make sure they're not interfering with the other defenders by carefully placing the Zoto canister. I am very curious how this new operator will be played in-game. And most of these clips and situations were played on a map that might not be all too familiar to you just yet. And that's because this is on the new map Lair. This is Deimos' hideout, and it's located in the middle of a cave. In my opinion, the interior and exterior of this map is absolutely beautiful. And the coolest thing is that one of the bomb sites is called R6 Room. Now, the map layout is maybe a bit confusing when you're playing it for the first time, but Siege is introducing something new for that this season, the landmark drill. You can launch this game mode on multiple different maps, and it will give you objectives all across the map. It'll tell you on what side of the map it is, what floor, and if it is a potential bomb site. You have to go to that location and disable the device, which will also give you a sound cue to alert you once you're near that location. This game mode will give you multiple locations where you need to go to and disable the devices. And I tried this a few times for the new map, and whilst it might seem confusing at first, it did really help me to learn how this new map works. You could do the same drill with targets, where you have to go to certain locations on a map and eliminate the targets in that room. This will probably be the replacement of training grounds, as that game mode will be removed in the new season. Another way of warming up could be the Defender AI playlist. But personally, I think this feels a bit slow. It is a siege simulation where the 5 AI defenders set up site and shoot back. But there's also a drone phase, and it just takes longer in general than at training grounds. In my opinion, this game mode is better to learn the game with your friends. And now for some other big changes this season, because, as you may have heard, grenades are being reworked. You can no longer cook grenades. You can still put the grenade back into your pocket though. The grenades now have a shorter fuse time. This was 5 seconds and is now 4 seconds. You can still sort of cook the grenade by bouncing it against something. The fuse timer when you bounce the grenade off something will then only be 2 seconds after it has bounced. I personally think this is a big change, as I was a huge fan of all the updates, but I also understand how this was very strong. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And because of this change, they've also given some more operators grenades now. Asa, Lion, IQ, Blackbeard, and Sense now also have grenades. There is also a change to Mira's Black Mirror. An explosive projectile that drills into a surface can now shatter the glass of a mirror window. This is, for example, Ash's breaching round and Kali's lens. Another neat little mirror trick that was shown to me by Titanium Rolo during playtesting is the following. You can shotgun the inner wall of a mirror window and then hide a C4 in that. If you would then freeze the wall with a Zoto canister, the attackers cannot hear the C4 as it is frozen. When you see the attackers approach the mirror window, you can shoot the Zoto canister and blow the C4, as the attackers will be in for an explosive surprise. And Maestro now has 3 evil eyes instead of 2, so now there's more evil eyes for Brava to hack. And that's it for the gameplay and balancing changes. So not that many changes, but we do get a new operator that interacts with almost every single other operator in the game. And we get a very exciting new map. I would like to thank Ubisoft for allowing me to play the new season early with all these amazing content creators. I had a great time, and I hope you will have a great time playing this new season too. Let me know in the comments what you're most excited for. I think for me, it has to be the new map. It's so cool how we have an R6 room in this new map. I definitely advise you to look around the room and see all these small R6 related details. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like educational content like this or want to see more of my Twitch highlight compilations, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bigger weapons! Bigger weapons!